So across Power Book 2 Ghost, we've seen a lot of connections, mainly with Tariq and how there are so many similarities to the way Tariq's story is being played out and how he's having to go through the same things Ghost had to. But if episode 3 proved anything, it's that there are more similarities than just Tariq's story. Kane's manipulation tactics that he used on Brayden was very reminiscent to the way Kanan manipulated Tommy when he got out of prison in Power. Now I touched on it very briefly in my recap video, but we're gonna dive even deeper to the way Kanan manipulated Tommy and how we could see this story and relationship unfold between Kane, Braden, and what impact it could have on Tariq. Now we're also going to have a look at a few more details where Tariq could have played a very clever move which clears him from anything to do with course correct, which revolves around Brayden blindly signing this document without reading it first. And we're also going to be looking at Mecca's background and Lauren turning into a drug addict. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. Let's rewind it back to Power first and have a look at just why Kanan chose to manipulate Tommy instead of Ghost. Although he did manipulate Ghost by having him kill Roller because he knew Roller was the one person who could see straight through Kanan's bullshit, so he knew he had to go before he came out of prison. But he still knew when he was out of prison it would be very difficult to twist and manipulate someone like Ghost because Kanan was the one who taught him the game. But Tommy was a weakling, and the way Kanan manipulated him across Power against Ghost was what made him such a good chess player, something that couldn't be mastered overnight, but something he would have learned from his mentors, who were Rack, Breeze, Marvin, Scrappy, and so many more that we'll come across in raising Kanan. But with Kanan, he used so many of the 48 laws of power when it came to Tommy, and one of them was posing as a friend and working as a spy. Knowing about enemies and gathering valuable information was key to Kanan because it would keep him one step ahead, or as Kanan used to say, always be 3 moves ahead of your enemies. But Kanan effectively posed as a friend to Tommy when his real intention was to get to the Connect and then kill both Tommy and Ghost and take back his organization. Now Kanan reintroduced himself to Tommy and Ghost in Season 2 Episode 2 when he knew they had troubles with the RSKs. And he knew Tommy was the person he could use to get in on the inside. The minute Tommy walked through the door, he asked him how was business, but he wouldn't dare ask Ghost. And throughout Power, we saw him manipulate Tommy, but always when Ghost wasn't around. Take Season 5, Episode 5 for example. Kanan, Tommy and Ghost got together because they shared a common goal of killing Dre. But Kanan would always wait until Ghost left the room to manipulate Tommy. He told Tommy that Ghost has got you thinking you can't do nothing without him, and then laid out the plan to take down Dre while Ghost wasn't there. And this is exactly the same manipulation tactics that Kane is using on Brayden. There is no way Kane would be trying to manipulate or twist Brayden over to his side if Tariq was there, because he knows Tariq is way too smart and he'd see straight through it. So Kane had to master the art of timing, and he had to discover not only Tariq's thumbscrew and weakness, but Brayden's as well. And these are the 2 48 laws of power that Kane used in this situation, and he learned from his mentor, who of course is Mecca, who told him that Brayden is easy to control, and this is how to run Tariq, by cutting him at his soft spot and getting Brayden in his pocket. But it took more than just Mecca telling him, he had to figure out a way to get it done, and this is why we have to give Kane his props. He figured out Brayden's thumbscrew, and he knew to get a reaction from Brayden is to tell him he was just a delivery boy, and he was someone who was just taking orders from his boss Tariq. Knowing that Brayden is someone who's out there to prove himself in the streets, and this isn't the last time we've seen Kane manipulating Brayden, I think it's something that we'll continue to see, and continue to the point where Brayden and Tariq have a real falling out, just like Ghost and Tommy did on more than one occasion. And let's have a look at a different perspective, which I did raise in my review and recap video as well, how Mecca is just telling Kane and showing Kane what he wants to see and what he wants him to hear, and Nashe L backed it up with what I said. I know people think Kane is like Kanan as far as manipulating Brayden, but Kane is being manipulated by Mecca. That was never the case with Kanan. He was the super manipulator, and nobody could outsmart him except for Tariq, and Tariq will play all of them. He works for Simon, who is the brains behind everything. And it backs up my thought process. Even though Mecca is mentoring Kane, we have to remember, Mecca is playing the biggest game of chess out of everybody on Power Book 2 Ghost this season. Mecca's supposedly opened up to Kane by welcoming him into his business and treating him like family. He's showing him what he wants him to see. But when it comes to speaking about Mecca's past and background, about him being in Kuwait, or who his love interest is in New York, everyone around them is quick to shut it down, including his chef. Now Mecca's got everybody playing their positions, but will Kane realize that his mentor is the one who's manipulating him? The reason he chose him specifically is to get close to Monet. So will he realize before it's too late, and realize before Lorenzo's released from prison? Because then he has a choice to make. Whose side is he going to be on? But what about Simon Stern? I'm actually coming around to believing that Simon Stern is a lot more powerful than I first thought. For those who have seen the trailer for episode 4, will know that Simon Stern will be telling Detective Whitman to step back. And let's see if he succeeds, because this will tell us just how much power and influence and control Simon Stern really has. But moving on to Tariq and his issues with how Kane is manipulating Brayden, is Tariq doing the same thing, but on an even bigger scale? What Brian said did come to my mind with how Tariq is planning to frame Brayden for everything, because Braden signing as CEO of the company connects every single dot and leaves Tariq, Zeke and the Tahadas out of it. And if you think about it, all the dots can be connected back to Brayden, because he's now the head of Course Correct. Tariq in essence is invisible, and not only this, Tariq is planning on moving out into his own apartment and moving far away from Brayden and what's going on from Stansfield, where people can creep up on him just like Kane did in episode 3. But do I think Tariq would let Brayden take the fall? I would like to think he wouldn't. But the thing is, the greater good would be for nothing to happen to him and the Tahadas, and ultimately I think Tariq will stay loyal to Brayden. And when I think it comes down to it, I think Carrie's going to be the one who takes the fall and who will ultimately be sacrificed. But let's talk about this and why this actually makes so much sense. Now, with the stuff that Brashandria left Lauren in a bedside table, she could turn out like Melody in Snowfall, and this is going to cause the same problems for Tariq as it did for Franklin. Don't forget, Lauren's brother is an addict, and he was also at Stansfield, and it is such a good point which can't be overlooked, and a really good Snowfall reference as well. Now, Franklin tried his best to help Mel, but eventually gave up because once the drug gets you, the person you knew is gone. And this could very well be a similar case with Lauren, as things start to get too much for her, which maybe they've already started to foreshadow. In their canonical studies class, when have we ever seen Lauren lost for words and not be able to give her opinion? Tariq stepped in and helped Lauren in episode 3, and she also mentioned how she has this interview that she'll be drug tested for, so if it doesn't go as well as she hopes, and how Tariq is always distracted, could she well turn to the drugs that were left in her bedside drawer? Just like how in Snowfall Franklin lost Mel to the same drugs that he was selling, we could see Tariq losing Lauren to the drugs that he's selling, and who knows, we could see another overdose just like Lindsay Proctor, or Lauren turning into an addict. And I'm always making reference to how Tariq is going through the same things Ghost had to go through, for example pink sneakers, his issues with Rashad Tate, Simon Stern, and his love life. And one issue that Ghost had was he lost the love of his life, which was Angela. So I could very well see a scenario where something takes Lauren away from Tariq, such as the drugs he sells, or even possibly caught in a crossfire. Because this is the game that Tariq is in, there's always consequences to your actions, and things will have a way of catching up to you. But that's just a breakdown of Kane's manipulation and how he's using a similar manipulation tactic that Kane had used on Tommy. And is Tariq also manipulating Brayden with this document that he got him to sign? Whatever happens, I do think Tariq will come out on top. It's just a matter of who is sacrificed. So drop all your comments down below in the comment section and let me know if you think Tariq could lose Lauren to the drugs that he sells. Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.